the show. The book is called Trapped in My Own Mind. And the author is a young man named Dale Grisso, a Chattanooga State employee who tells a personal story about overcoming challenges in life like depression and suicide. He changes those negative thoughts into positive experiences. It's an honor to welcome Dale to the show this morning, who is now working with others who want to speak out as well. It's so good to have you here. And let me just say, I work part-time at the school as well. You've got so much respect among the faculty, the staff, and the students there. It's nice to see you, and I think you are perfect to bring out the best in people. What is the book about?
Well, thank you. It's my story, actually. Trapped in My Own Mind was actually a phrase before it was a book title, because that's how I described myself. It was like having struggles in hiding, and hiding right out in public, basically, and nobody realizes you're going through depression, suicidal ideation.
I don't understand it. You were president of the student body.
Right.
You're always positive. You give the best tours. What happened? I mean, how do you hide that hurt?
I think it's a series of things. If you go through the book, it's a story from childhood, from insecurities and things that happened there, to anxiety as a teenager. I went for about 9 months and just hid in my bedroom, things like that, and then later feeling worthless, feeling like this is as far as I'll ever go in life. And when you've done things like student body president, and you've hit that point, it's like there's nowhere else to go, and you feel like, well, that's it. And I realized that was a spiraling thought pattern that was actually going to have harm if I didn't do something about it.
Let me ask you this: you never thought your self-worth was what everybody thinks about you? I mean, you have so much respect from everybody who has met you. You didn't see that. You were blind to that.
Right. You have one side that's your public face, and what people think about you. Is the other side is what you're hiding in public, which is what you're feeling about yourself. And when you think you've gone to that point, somebody had to break the ice, and I found out a lot of my friends were going through the same thing.
Okay, so you were trapped in your own mind. Who got you free?
Well, through writing this project, this was my first step at ever saying anything about what was going on the inside. And so when I showed it to our psychologist professor, Robin Popp at Chat State, she wrote the foreword for the book, and she said, Dale, you treated yourself. And it was basically cognitive therapy, where I realized that negative thoughts were lies. And when I had that breakthrough moment, there was like a huge burden lifted.
I see religion is a very big part of your life right now. Yeah. Was that a part of it when you were trapped? Is that a part of it now that you're out? And what got you free?
Yes.
What are some of the thoughts that you had that brought you to freedom?
There's a verse, Romans 8:28, that says we know that all things work together for good. And when you can take negative experiences and use that to reach out to somebody else, you end up helping yourself as well. And it was a way that I tapped into my purpose. And I realized, wow, the things that I've been through is something that might help somebody else realize they're not alone. And maybe they'll speak out as well and share their story.
Do you think people really want to be helped? Or do they just feel like, listen, just let me deal with this? How tough is that to break through to a young person especially and say, let me get you out of that trapped state of mind?
Breaking the ice is the key. And a lot of my friends were struggling, and I had a number of friends that told me, when I showed this project, they said, I'm going to tell you something I've never told anybody before, which was shocking to me because I knew these people. So I realized this is a much bigger issue than we realized, and that's why this project caught on. 4 other students wrote those stories. They're in the book, and we called it Speaking Out in the last section of the book. And that's where the Speaking Out campaign came about, as well as our Facebook group.
Are you ready taking off the water skis? What do you mean?
Right. Well, skiing was an analogy. I actually had the opportunity to go skiing one time in my life, and I hit the water. And when I was submerged, it was like, you're trying to hang on, and you have to let go, and you have all these things run through your mind under the water. And I realized that submerged feeling was the perfect analogy for how I felt internally.
I think all of us are on a hamster wheel. That's a whole chapter. What is that?
Right, hamster wheel, and the things that we're racing forward in life, and that's part of it. We're busy, we have this public face, we're trying to keep on a normal life, and then we're not addressing the issues that we're dealing with on the inside, and we're not finding our purpose in all of this without taking some time to reflect, and that's what this project did for me.
One chapter is, it's a gift. I think that psychologist at Chattanooga State was saying you gave yourself the ultimate gift by getting well. Right. You did it to yourself.
Right. Exactly. Yes, and then that's an opportunity for other people to do the same. That It's a Gift is actually someone else's story added to this project because they were discovering the same things.
I think I've known you for about 4 years. Let me say, you've had me fooled. You have had me fooled. I have thought that you were the most incredible young person. I still do, but I didn't know you were hurting inside. And I think that was you become an actor, don't you?
That's right, and it takes somebody coming out because other people are doing the same thing. Somebody has to come out and say, you're not alone. That you can take that first step to talk about it and find professional resources, ministers, counselors, family, friends, somebody you trust to actually talk to them, and then be willing to share your story.
You're putting a lot of this on video, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. We're actually interviewing other people now. A number of people have come out and shared their stories, and that's on our YouTube channel that we can link to our Speaking Out group on Facebook.
All right, what's up? What's up with you playing piano? You love the piano?
Yes.
I'm looking at YouTube. You're
Yes.
all over the piano. I mean, you got to come on the show and play piano, Dale.
That would be fun. That's another side.
Self-taught?
Yes, right.
So I can
music.
bring up any song, which I told my daughter she should never have stopped playing piano. You can play any song. Is that right?
If I hear it, if I know it, yes.
All right, you're coming back on. This is crazy. Dale, I am so proud of you. And thank you. I enjoy you as a colleague and as a friend at Chattanooga State. And where is the book available?
Well, it's in our bookstore at Chat State. And, you know, classes start this last week of August, and people can still register for classes. And then our table will be out with the book, greeting new students as they come in this last week in August. So people can still get their paperwork in to get started. And it's in the bookstore, and it's on Amazon.com.
Amazon.com. And if you ever need a tour of Chattanooga State, this is the man to ask for, Dale Grisso. Dale, all the best to you.
Thanks very much.
A lot of respect for you. And thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Just many things great are going to happen in your life. David's forecast straight ahead.